Good evening, friends. I thought we'd just do a little color mixing tonight. I actually stopped by the paint store and picked up some color chips, so this should be fun. I have thrown a couple little quickie, you only get a minute on TikTok or less, and I've done a couple. I did a video last night and one today where I mixed up and matched a color. This is one I just did here. So I've got a little pile of chips over here. I thought and I'm not going to rush. We'll talk about how I got to these colors. So let's do that one first. You know, what do you see when you look at that? It's orange, right? So let's start off with Cad Red Light and Cad Yellow Medium, and let's make a pure orange. Okay? Now you and I can both tell that this is lighter and this is too saturated. So to gray this, which is what I want to do, I'm going to want to put white in it, which will cool it, which is good, and lighten it. But let's put a little blue in it, which is the complement. You're working with the three primaries. I have the very limited palette on here. I've got my two blues, my two yellows, and my two reds. So let's put a little blue in there, which will gray it. Okay? And then let's put our white in and see where we are. To me, that's a little too gray, so maybe a little too much blue. So let's go back and introduce our yellow and our red again. Okay, and then let's lighten it again with some more white, which will cool it, and this is cooler. What are we doing now? Now it's hard to tell exactly. This is wet and a bit shiny, and we're pretty close, wouldn't you say? Still looks a little, maybe a little more gray. So this is all it is, push and pull back and forth. You know, just have fun with it. Now that's a little more saturated because I put a little more orange in it. Again, not quite sure exactly how it looks to you. You know, but I just went into Sherwin-Williams and they don't care. You know, they don't know what you're doing and what you're using the chips for. I don't plan to buy any of their paint anytime soon, but I scooped me up a bunch of chips. What I did was I tried to choose colors that I thought would be challenging, you know, to mix. Some are gray. I don't even know what you call that. They're calling it a clay. Got to get some interesting greens. So, you know, it's fun. So I think that's pretty close. And then you can actually, like I said, some of the chips that you get have a hole in them. You know, you can hold them over your mixture. Again, you know, this is very, it's not the same finish. This is shiny, obviously, but we're pretty close there. So I'm going to wipe this off because I may want to use these again. We'll just push that over there. Let's go to another one. Let's go to one of these funky greens. This is called Citronella. Really unusual. I can't imagine what you might use that for, but okay, green is yellow and blue, right? All right. And I'm looking at it, trying to decide. I think I'm gonna, you know, we're just trying stuff. I'm going to start with a little cobalt and lemon yellow. Very different. Obviously, that's a lot more yellow. Let's put in more yellow. Obviously, I'm a lot more green here than that, right? And I might even try some of the Cad Yellow Medium. That definitely pulls it more yellow. Some colors, and you have to learn that. That's why it's good to just try the limited palette and try different mixes and see what tinting strength it has. And it's hard for me even too, because I stand up, maybe it's a little more helpful. You know, we're in the family. We're getting much, much closer, wouldn't you say? This is kind of throwing me off. Let me push that over there. You know, it's kind of a yellow-green. That's what I would call it. You know, let's put a little more yellow in it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work, right? I think that's probably even closer. How's that look? That's not bad, right? So let's push that out over the way. We'll get a pile going over there of a muddy color. I'm going to wipe off my card because I want to keep it. Let's clean up an area here so we don't mix our colors together. See, this is fun. This is fun to do. And this is what, again, how you learn what your colors will do. And if you don't have a billion colors on there, your life's easier, I think. All right, so we did a green, so let's not do that green. And we did this kind of, I don't even know what you'd call that, a dirty grayed orange color. I've got some purples. Ooh, let's try this. This looks pretty interesting. This is called Perry-style brass. Very unusual color. If I had to describe that, well, it's obviously a gray color, a warm gray color. Now see, if I had my transparent red oxide on here, I would probably get into some of that, because I think that would work nicely in this mix. But let's just try all three primaries in this. Let's do some blue and some yellow. Will make us a green. You think, where in the heck are you going with that, right? Now let's throw some red in, which would kill this green. Again, I see a warm color here, you know. Let's go more red. Oh, I've got it very red now, don't I? Okay. But it's a warm color, but much, much in value, as you can tell, much, much darker. So let's lighten it up. Like I said, it's just a fun thing to do on a cold night, you know? Just play around with my palette. And you can even do color charts. A lot of people do that, and that really tells them what they can do. You know, they lay out little blocks of color, and they do all their mixes, and then they know what they can do with their palette. Okay, needs more yellow in it. I think you can tell that by looking, right? So with this limited palette, you know, I've got to go blue, yellow, or red. That's my options. And you know, and that's good in a lot of ways. Gonna lighten it up some more. You know, and sometimes you might not nail it exactly, but it might not matter that you're exactly on it. I mean, again, value is more important than color. And again, if I had my transparent red oxide on here, I would probably throw some of that in here because it's just a nice warm color. I've gotten used to having that on my palette. I'm looking through the camera too. See, I think it could be a little warmer. I say push and pull, that's what it is. You just go back and forth and back and forth. If I had yellow ochre on here, I would probably throw some of that in here. It's kind of a, if you use yellow ochre, you know, kind of leans toward that, doesn't it? But our options are limited here. And I'm back in the blue again. You may be watching me, telling me what I need, right? Put some blue in there, Barb. That's getting it closer, isn't it? Yeah, that's getting pretty daggone close now. See, depending on the light, you can't really even see it. The paint is shiny, obviously. Yeah, we're pretty close now. Very, very close. Close enough, right? And again, with the limited palette, which I recommend, where are you going to go? I mean, you only have so many choices. As you could see when I did the last video, I could not quite, you know, get phthalo blue with my palette. Phthalo blue, though, has a lot of, it's a very high pigmented color, really saturated. But you can get something along those lines. So we did a green, so we won't do another one because that's in the same family. And we did that first orange. There's another orange. See what I picked up here. This is called Clay. We might do that. Free Spirit, which is obviously a lavender color. This is called a gray, something gray. Chatura, and that's an interesting color. Grape Harvest. Let's do that one. Now you can tell it's a fairly dark in value, and you can see obviously it's a purple. If you had to say what color is that, so we're going to start with Alizarin Crimson, which is my cool red, and we're going to start with an ultramarine blue. If you remember in the last video, these were the two colors we put together to get a really true purple. So let's throw a little white in it, and that'll tell us kind of what color we got going. You can see how close we are already. We are darker. And again, this is just red and blue, but it's a little rich and vibrant. This is a little more grayed. So what are we going to throw in there? We're going to throw yellow in there, our third primary, which should kill the intensity of this purple. Maybe even a little more yellow yet. You know, you push it too far, then you push it back, and then you end up with more paint maybe than you intended, but you definitely can pull it back. It's never a loss. Okay, I'm looking at it. Gonna go a little more blue. And now we're getting closer. That's pretty close. In most cases, I mean, you're going to be close enough. I mean, what are you going to... Again, it's more of a matter of the paint is shiny and the chip is dull, but the color is very, very close. So that was the 3 primaries. In most cases, unless you're shooting for a really saturated pure color, you probably are going to have all 3 primaries in there, which we did with most of those mixtures. Grays are nice. And this is, I'm playing around here on some gray palette paper. It's got the coating on it, which is nice, and it's kind of a mid-value. Kind of helps you determine value rather than working on white. We'll do one more here because I've got another purple here which wouldn't be that different, and this is kind of a clay color. It's called something clay. Let's try this weird color. It's called Chatura Gray. And grays again are generally, you know, all 3 primaries. So let's try that. There's our green again. Okay. And throw some red in. Then I usually get some white in there so I can kind of determine where I am, you know. Obviously, still way too dark. And too warm. I can see that. Can you see that? I'm sure you can. I drew the winner on my painting and heard from her, got it packed up, ready to go. I'll be shipping it out on Monday. I said we'll probably do another giveaway when we reach 1,000. I'm at about 750. So yes, kind of has a almost purpley cast to it, doesn't it? So I'm going to make a little bit of a purple with the crimson and the blue. I could steal it from over here. I've got some purple that we used, you know, but I'm not doing that. We're making our own here. It's all comparison, and like today when I brought home chips, my husband was saying, "Oh, that's green." I said, "That's not green at all." And I one of the chips and I held it up against something white, and he's like, "Oh yeah, it's not green." It's like, nope. See, you can see it's coming now, can't you? I find this very therapeutic and relaxing to do. And again, you know, you do it when you're not actually painting. Makes you more familiar with your colors, and looking to you? I think it could be a little cooler. Again, I mentioned this over and over, but you know, that's the questions you ask. Lighter, darker, warmer, cooler. What, you know, what's it need? Oh, I think we're really, really close. Really, really close. Yep, I'm happy with that. All right, well, this was a short video, like 20 minutes. I picked up these chips today and I thought, and I'll get some more, you know. And someplace I got a whole bag of them, but I just can't find them. But that's really I mean, I've got others that are similar to what we already did, but there's probably no benefit to doing that. So again, consider a limited palette, and this is the reason why. I mean, again, I have limited options on how to get to that color. I'm going to go blue, yellow, or red. I mean, that's my options. And in most cases, you can get what you want, or very, very close. Again, the main thing is value. So if you have a red piece of red film or red glasses, once you get your color mixed, you can compare value. And we could have done that. I probably should have done that too. I've been doing it a while, so I generally get pretty close with value, I think, too. So, well, I hope you enjoyed that. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and you can find me on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok. I'm on TikTok a lot. That's fun. All right, folks. I'll paint next time. I've been playing around the last few videos, just doing exercises, but we'll paint something next time for you. Thanks for joining me. You have a wonderful evening. Happy New Year. I'll probably see you before then. Bye-bye.